Well, good afternoon, members of the committee. We're going to go ahead and get started. I know we had several meetings going on, and people are going to continue to be coming in here in the next few minutes, but I know everyone has a busy afternoon. First of all, let's open us in a word of prayer. And Chairman Belton, would you be willing to say a prayer for us this morning?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Hallowed, blessed be the Lord, and all these to be praised. Amen.
All right. Well, with no further ado, we have a substitute before us on House Bill 86. And we are working off of LC 364690S. And I will turn it over to our chairman, Chairman Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. This bill you've seen before. It came out overwhelmingly in the subcommittee or in the committee that we had last week. So we've got an issue that we needed to bring back before you, and it changes basically three things. The thing that got the most attention with this bill with sports betting is the tax rate. As you know, our adjacent state, Tennessee, has a tax rate of 20. We believe that we ought to be as good as Tennessee and raise the revenue. So this bill moves it from 14 to 20%. And ladies and gentlemen, that's on line 765 of the bill. Stan Gunner's change is to clarify the Title 16 investigations, if you will, was the other change. Problem gambling, that was originally in the bill, would be handled by DDP, and that program essentially would have moved it out of the lottery. Currently, the lottery handles that, so we're going to keep it exactly the way that it is in the bill. Fantasy sports definitions were clarified, and basically, the GLC has 90 days after the passage to promulgate the rules. And that's all it does. The biggest piece that it does from the previous bill is it changes the tax rate from 14 to 20%, which significantly increases the revenue. I'll accept any questions if there are any.
All right. Are there any questions on the substitute that we have before us? Yes, Representative Evans.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. I'm sorry, what line number did you say that was on?
The tax rate?
Uh-huh.
The tax rate is on line 765.
Okay, great. Thank you. And so as you and I had discussed there, I had proposed an amendment for the proceeds to go to needs-based aid, but you made a decision, not to include that amendment in this bill. Is that correct?
We need to consider that along. One of the issues, this is a bill, and of course, the Hope Scholarship is on a merit base. If we move it to a needs base, the question comes up as, well, now do we need a constitutional amendment? Because we're truly changing that. Again, as I've spoken earlier, we have another bill that we want to talk about that is a constitutional amendment. That's going to take about 3 years to get into effect. The vote would come next year by the public. So that would slow the process down, eliminating up to $120 million into our budget for the Hope. So, but I'm totally open to that along the process if we can figure out a way to make it work.
Mm-hmm. And then, does the gentleman also yield for one more question? Was there also an amendment for minority-based ownership, license ownership?
Yes, and that's in the original language in the Hope Scholarship provision. Let's see, which is 50-27-16, and it specifically has language in there for minority ownership. So rather than going and rewriting the bill, we just decided to use the language that the Hope Scholarship, the lottery already has.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Representative Bennett, you had a question.
I do. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a procedural question. I'm not familiar with sports betting. I am familiar with walking into stores and seeing the lottery booths where you can buy a cash card or ticket or whatever. How is this different or similar to the games that already exist?
It's an app on your phone. We'll contract with no less than 6 vendors that already do this. There's 2.3 million Georgians that are doing this today, spending 4.8 billion offshore. So this just allows the lottery to add another game to what they already do. No, it's on your phone. It's an app.
You
Correct.
would have to put in your wager or whatever.
Correct. And you can only do that with either a bank transfer or a debit card. Credit cards are not allowed.
All right, thank you.
All right. Representative Mallow.
Mr. Chairman, could you give me that subsection again for the minority participation from the lottery? I wanted to write it down and you went so fast.
I'm sorry, it's actually 3. The primary section is 50-27-34. And the other, because it's referenced twice in there, 50-27-16. And then the definition for minority participation is 50-27-3.
Representative Dukes, you had a question?
Mr. Chairman, I think the legislation is something that we probably will move forward with, but is it not true that the language that was put in there for minority participation was placed in there in 1992?
Yes,
Is it further not true that the language that many in this committee or many in this chamber would like to have put in is language that reflects the thinking of this legislature, this state, that reflects 2021 language, not 1992 language?
I believe this covers it. Honestly, this is and we don't want, here's the problem. We don't want to become conflict with the Lottery Commission in the way that they do this now. So I would ask that we move forward with the minority participation language and that we get this thing moving. Otherwise, we're going to have some issues,
Well,
timing wise.
would the gentleman further yield?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Go ahead.
yes, yes.
Yes. Well, I think the consensus of the majority of the people on this committee would be for the language for this bill to move forward. You have worked tirelessly in trying to get it to a place. But our concern is that as we go through the process, because this is a journey of 1,000,000 miles, and you get it through here, you've done about 500,000, well, 300,000, because it has to go to the rules, and then it has to go to the body, and then it has to go to the Senate, and the governor has to sign it. But as we consider going through this process, we would like to see that language that address those concerns at some point on this journey be added. Is that not true?
We can keep that in mind, so long as it does not conflict with the lottery's current language as this moves along, and so long as it doesn't require constitutional amendment. As a result of that, I'm open to that.
Thank you.
Representative Paris.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman, for all that you do for us. Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that you can see that minority participation is a very important issue for us. And the glaring absence of it in the language of this bill is concerning. We can reference 92 language, but right now with the lottery and things that are going on, we're not getting our fair share, and we're participating heavily into the lottery and into gaming and all such as this. So as we go forward, I really would like to reiterate that this isn't beating a dead horse. This horse isn't dead. He's alive and he's running around and he's kicking. And we need to know that our communities are going to benefit from, I believe you said $4.8 billion?
No, I'm sorry. That's what people in Georgia are currently spending today per year.
Right. I
We would
understand.
benefit into the lottery, through the lottery to the student finance would be
Right.
between, now that we got a different rate, more than 30 million a year, which is a kind of a drop in the bucket when you consider it.
Right. So I don't know that we can't reiterate that point enough, that in order for us to support something like this and see the benefit in it, and not just the subtraction from our community, is really important. It's not, I can't just go off of, oh, okay, it's taken care of, it's going to be all right. Thank you for your work, though.
And I only want to reiterate, we do not want to cause conflict with our current lottery law.
All right, Representative Pruett.
Thank you, sir. My question, well, I was glad to see the 14% rise to 20% there. I did not hear, and I'm not sure if you have that, but the gap between that, between the original performance on a 14%, what that would do versus a 20% escalation there, if you have that.
It's about 20 additional million.
Is it? Okay, gotcha. All right. And then additionally, I've always had a concern about this from the standpoint of those license holders, like additionally in the minority concern here, is those license holders, is there anything in here that's going to try to contain those dollars they stay in the state of Georgia? And I mean for the license holders, I don't mean from the standpoint of Hope Scholarship. So I just would hate to see that we've got, these businesses located in maybe Nevada or some of these countries. And so we've got a lot of revenue outside of that 20%, that these companies are capturing. And so then we've got money flowing out of the state.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Every dime of this is going out of the state. Now, all we want to do in Georgia is just capture some of those dollars that are currently spent.
I understand it's going out, yeah, in what we're calling illegal forms.
Correct.
Now we have a means of capturing that and containing it. And so it'd be nice to see where maybe some headquarters or something for these companies, they had to have something here in the state so that we have some kind of assurance that all this revenue is not leaving the state. Just a point, just a recommendation, that's all.
Point taken.
Yes, sir.
All right, and Representative Evans, you have another question?
Yes, thank you. One consideration, for anytime we vote on legislation is what is it, for our community. And I wanted you to know I'm taking this, very seriously. And I just also wanted to say that I understand that you didn't want to consider the needs-based amendment, but it was a strong amendment from Legislative Council, and in their opinion, it did not require a constitutional amendment. And another point I would like to make is 0 to 40 million is a lot for a new source of income, is a lot of income, and 40 million out of $1 billion for Hope is 4%. So I'd like to just express my disappointment that this amendment was not considered in this legislation.
And again, in response, if we would like to consider just moving on with the constitutional amendment, I'm okay with adding this on, but understand that's 3 years of lost revenue. And Mr. Chairman, with these changes that we've got, I'm ready for, if there be the will of the committee to move forward or to leave this thing alone and vote it down.
And I know we've had considerable discussion on this. Chairman Hogan, you had a question?
The gambling, sports gambling that's going on right now will continue
Yes, sir.
offshore. So we're not having any impact on them probably at all.
That's true. We will compete against them.
Right. Thank you.
All right, and Chairman Belton?
Yes, sir. At the appropriate time, I'd like to make a motion.
All right, I'd entertain that motion.
I can make a motion to do pass.
We have a motion for due pass. House Bill 86 LC 364690S. Is there a second? All right, we have a motion and a second, and we, per our committee rules, will go down through a roll call vote. And we have several members online with us today. So I'll start with Representative Allen. Representative Blackman is not here. Representative Burns is not here. Representative Evans. Representative Gunner is absent. Representative Hogan. Representative Houston. Representative Mallow. Representative Neal. Representative Parrish. Representative Robichaud.
Yes.
Okay. Representative Belton.
Aye.
Representative Bennett. Representative Bonner.
No.
Representative Bernot. Representative Dempsey. Representative Dukes. Representative Gravely. Representative Green. Representative Hatchett. Representative Hitchens. Representative Holmes. Representative Hobson. Representative Jones. Representative Lopez.
Yes.
Representative Marin.
Yes.
Representative Metz. Representative Nix. Representative Paris. Yes. Representative Pruett. Representative Rhodes. Representative Smith.
No.
Representative Williams. Representative Yurda.
No.
All right.
Mr.
With-
Chairman, I vote yes.
All right, Representative Stevens, duly noted. And with that, the motion carries and the bill moves on back to rules.
Thank you, and I commit to the committee to continue to work on minority participation.
Thank you. We're dismissed.